Namaste programs, welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator, France to Australia in tiny little bits. Yesterday we ended up in Sirte, so that's where we'll start. And spoiler alert, I forgot to record this intro, so when you actually watch the video I'll be talking about how I couldn't find any little towns, but eventually I did. So yeah, we're gonna just put in the towns that I picked right now because I'm now recording this later, having done the trip. Normally I do it before, so we did Gardebaya to, I found a little town up here. I went to this circular thing here, which is near, well, I saw a name last time. I wrote it down. It's Jabanam Surugubwao. There somewhere. Actually, we need to go where we're going, which is this one over here. Ras Lanuf, which the airport's name Ras Lanuf Oil, set as arrival. And of course that's wrecked everything, so now we need to go set as departure again, because I didn't do it in the right order, apparently. We want this, and then we went to Mintakat Wadi Harawa. We will go, spoiler alert. I had a quick detour up to Jabanat Saif en Nasir, and then also Al Kinfis to the ever exciting Bin Jawad. We flew over Matratin Airport, which is at As-Sida, and finally arrived at Ras Lanuf Oil Airport. Let's go! Alright, let's get going. We say a bon farewell to Sirte, and we get going. While I was writing down the names of the waypoints that I picked, I found some more, so we've actually got a few more things to look at. A couple more little towns on the coast that just were hiding from the larger view, but once I zoomed in, finally found a town name. Let's get taken off. Beautiful. It told me it was going to be stormy weather on the live thing, but looking pretty good. Maybe it just hasn't loaded in yet. Go 321 for a little bit on our way to getting ready to leave north. On our way to a town I found here called Jabanam Surugubwao. We got flaps up. A little bit windy again. Look at that, it's pushing us over to the right quite a bit. There we go, purple arrow is content. So now we want 70 degrees for 419. Start our clock. Just a windy part of the world, I guess. Every day has been really windy. Must be, although it's been very windy where I am as well, so it's, you know, we're coming out of autumn into winter. Everything's getting a lot colder. That probably causes pressure systems around the place that just mean wind. Wind and more wind. Speaking of wind, let's do our traditional... I keep pressing the wrong one. It's this one. Wind. Option 2. Heat. There we go. There we go. Got a bit of a town going on here. Not much of one. We need to get ourselves back to our purple line though. Oh, what was that? What's that on the radar? Is that the edge of the airport? Just the edge of the airport. 52 knot winds. God. I don't know if that exceeds this plane's specifications. Let's hope the airport we're landing on has a runway that's going to be into that wind.
airspace Chas Rover Zulu Alpha 11.
Whoa! That's so windy. Oh, okay, so now it's only so it's 50 knot gusts. It's actually 22. When I looked at it before, it said 50. I must have been in mid gust. Disgusting. Alright, we're nearly back to our purple line. Let's go over this farm here, whatever it is. Oh, I think it was that big circular reservoir that I picked that is near Jabanam Sudu Gubau. As pronounced by an Australian. Pronounced! Can't even say the word pronounced. Can't even pronounce. Brett! What's going on? We've got our radar fields. Oh, lots of radar fields. This must be a hive of alien activity. Okay, our line is curving around, but we need to go over the waypoint. As always, to appease the purple arrow. Suddenly it's just not that windy. Nice steady 24 degrees behind us. Ooh, what a circular pond you've made. Is that maybe how these radar fields come about? They fill circle with water and soak it through the soil and then drain it, and that'll be a field at some point? Is that what's going on? I think the actual town was up over there somewhere. Maybe there. Yeah, just on the beach. But there's, you know, there's civilization all along this beach, it seems. Okay, got our custom in the middle of this blue dot. Looks like we're gonna have to trim down a little bit more. We're climbing quite heavily. Let's turn as well to 101 for 7:33. Reset our clock. On to 101. Let's see, we're going to Mintakat Wadi Harawa. These little towns that I found, at least the names of, I suspect aren't particularly large. What's the... Here again, we've got like this long straight dirt road, or is that where power lines are going, or what? Is it some kind of ex-canal? It just doesn't particularly look like it. Whoa! That wind though. This wind might end the trip. Suddenly it's up to 44 knots again. The planes are going sideways. I'll just let the wind do its thing. You can't really fight that kind of stuff. You just have to hope you can recover. So yeah, I hope you don't mind a bit of turbulence. It's windy AF.
Chas Rover Zulu Alpha 11 contact Tripoli Center on 120.9. Good day.
Good day. Well, windy day.
Tripoli Center, Chas Rover, Zulu Alpha 11 2,700 feet. Chas Rover Zulu Alpha 11 Tripoli Center QNH 30.07 continue as planned.
Look at this. It goes all the way there until it hits that road there. Like, what is that? What is that? I'm beginning to think it's something for use for moving, you know, tanks or something. It's just something, it's a giant wide dirt track, and there seems to be heaps of them. But there doesn't seem to be, you know, like, I mean, there's a few farms and things off, but, you know, that's more connected to this road than this thing. Maybe it's just something, if it rains or something, it causes a channel to move the water off this plane. I don't know, I'm interested. I want to know what that is. I don't know how I would find that out, though. I guess I could look at Google, see if it has a street name or something like that, but I doubt it. Why would they, you know, can't imagine they're naming that thing. Alright, wind. Leave it be a bit. Now we're losing a heap of height. Let's trim back just a little bit as well. We must be near our Mintakat Wadi Harawa. We've done 3.5 minutes of... Oh no, it was 7, so no, we're halfway there. We're halfway there. I'm reading the wrong line. I cannot believe this wind. In fact, I think the runway was this way, so that's going to be an issue. There was an airport. The previous leg was also an airport. I wonder if... I think it was facing east-west as well, so with a north-south wind of 45 knots, that's going to make landing pretty hard. If not, probably not allowed. I don't know. The Cessnas used to be, I think, 25 knots crosswind you couldn't exceed. And this is obviously a much bigger plane, more powerful, so probably more than that. But, you know, I'd probably guess something like 50. I'm going to have to go put some power up here because we're still losing height. I'm at 5% trim. This wind is making it difficult. We've been basically completely blown off the well, the white line at the moment. I don't know why they go purple and white. I guess to indicate what leg you're on. I don't know. Purple, then white, and then when you're coming into land, it flashes purple and white. So I don't know what any of that's about at all. Let's get back to the white line, which is pretty much this road or even a little bit further. Plus, it gives us a chance to go into the wind a little bit, which should help with lift. In fact, a big gust now would probably launch us into the stratosphere. I'm going to follow the road. It's sort of between the white line and the coast, so let's do the road. Roughly. Big lagoon area over there. Sort of marshlands. Perhaps not even a lagoon. We might be able to see where this channel goes. I think that's still it there somewhere, and that's it where it's curving around there. Maybe it is something to do with dealing with floods and things. They've built basically a channel there that if it fills with, you know, there's too much water coming from the plains there, it can divert it into a channel that takes it out to the sea rather than swamping this whole area that's got people living. I don't know. That's my only thought. That seems to match what's going on. We'll see. If it goes all the way to the sea, then yeah, that's what it is. If it just goes to this town here, which could very well be like a military base or something, then it's probably used for the military. I mean, well, I've heard that in America, the interstates, the big highways, while obviously useful for people, were mostly designed and built in order to move tanks and military vehicles quickly across the country if need be, in the case of war. So, you know, it might be the same case here, that these little thin roads aren't good enough for their mighty military machines. I've kind of lost track of where that the canal road, whatever it is anyway. There's another one here. There's another one here. What's going on? It follows the road. I think that might be where it crossed there somewhere. And then it ends up on here then. Yeah, there you go. What is it? What is it? I'm now more inclined to go with its military theory. Anyway, we're our next point. This is Mintakat Wadi Harawa. Yeah, little town. Probably a little bit, little bit bigger than a village. Main, you know, a stop on this big highway here. See, there's a highway there. There's a highway there, and then there's this in the middle. Maybe they're building a new freeway or something. Maybe it's the old dirt tracks. Maybe that was the original road. I did actually see there's a little bit of a track there, but maybe it just hasn't been used anymore. They built the other ones and... honestly have no idea. Alright, we now want 89 degrees for 2 minutes 28. I must have seen something over here I thought was interesting. Reset our clock. And it's called Jabanat Saif en Nasa. Let's go see what that is, / was. I think it might have just been that little town over there, but I actually picked a point on the actual water on the coast. Just to, you know, instead of just going in a straight line, I'm just trying to zigzag it a bit so we know where each turn point is. Yeah, I don't know what I've picked here. We're about to find out. The wind is still incredibly strong. On here we've got a road and then a little track and then a track to this. What is this? Just a little area? Is it a car park for the beach? Is this even a beach? It's more of a marshlands. What is that? Well, why is that there? Is that a dump? Is that where people put trash? These little roads that go, they must go somewhere, otherwise why would you have the road, you know? So interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I just picked a point out here on the edge of the thing. That's right. That's true. This was the one. So that little town over to our right is Jabanat Saif al-Nasr. Hello, giant beach. You've got little roads onto the beach and things, so it must be used. That little point there might be a good spot to launch a boat and things. Alright, 117 for 253. Reset our clock. On our way to al-Kinfis. If the wind doesn't blow us back up into Europe. So there we are, that was the previous little town. Not much to it. But enough. You know, you do what you can with what you got. Please, wind, please. Alright, I think can go back to 90%. I've put the trim down now, and we're still climbing. It is mostly to do with the wind right now. Let's see. So is this our next one? What are we doing? 117? No, we needed... Okay, we're another minute and a half. Must have been that other little town up there I picked. This one didn't have a name. Well, if it presumably has a name, but I either didn't zoom in far enough or it's not on the map that the game uses. It does seem to just... And sometimes when you're all the way zoomed in you can't see a name. Sometimes you zoom out all the way you can't see a name, or somewhere in between there's always sometimes a sweet spot where you can see names, and it doesn't cross over to the other places. Every place has its own spot. Alright, well we're back on the white line, but we're also about to hit our point. Again, I don't think I picked the actual town because that wouldn't have given us enough of a deviation on our line. Well, I think I picked the road. Yeah. Of al Kinfis. This little town here. Hello! I bid you a fond hello. Kind people of al Kinfis. Lock your doors, the zombie apocalypse is upon us. I like this law that we're doing the zombie apocalypse. It explains why we don't see any people. And we might see cars and things, that's fine. You know, they're still, you know, there's just a few people still managing to try to get the F out of Dodge. No actual people running around. Or zombies for that matter. They don't show up from the air. They're invisible. We know that. Zombies are invisible. There we go. We've now done that. We want 108 degrees for 818. Couldn't find anything else in between there. On our way to Bin Jawad. Well, we'll just follow this giant carved out dirt track. Yeah, you know, I'm wondering, what I said before might be true. It's much wider than these other two roads. We've got a fairly new road here, paved road, concrete road, whatever. We've got presumably the older road that originally existed. They might be building a big, wide superhighway or something, and they've just dug out all of the path already. Or it's for tanks. Oh, I haven't done a look around. What's going on? There we go. We've got water. We've got desert. And in between we've got three thin channels where people can live along these roads. Up near the water. Along the places where there's actual rivers, I guess, or even underground rivers perhaps, if they're not. We can sort of see that from the foliage. The sun's still in the west. The sun. The moon. The moon, motherfucker. Doesn't know his sun from his moon. What a noob. Got a couple of little towns here that were apparently also not important enough for me to be able to find a name, but we shall wave to them and say hi nonetheless. Has the wind calmed down a little bit? Just a bit. Just a bit. We're probably now back into the safety of being able to land crosswind if needs be. What you got going on there, little town? What you got going on? And what's all of this sort of hilly, brown, greeny rock on the top of everything? What's going on? Actually head over this way. The white line's a little bit to our right. We'll go follow this carved out path. That seems to be basically our direction to get us to our next point, Bin Jawad. I mean, worst goes to worst, we could land on that strip. It's perfectly wide enough and flat enough for an airplane. Then again, so's all of Libya, it seems. I mean, there's not much around here that you'd think you'd have a trouble. You'd have to just make sure you avoid some trees. And you'd be good to go. It's pretty bloody flat, man. Pretty bloody flat. Alright, we've done 4.5 minutes of roughly 8 minutes, so we're, you know, we're getting there, we're getting there. Again, little paths that lead nowhere, but they must lead somewhere. I guess it's all, these are all sort of farming fields, I guess. Maybe they're, well no, they are, they're definitely tracks, aren't they? I was going to say, maybe it's just where water runs, but I don't think so. It tracks that lead through these what would be fields if there was anything planted, I guess. Suddenly everything's looking quite a bit different. I mean, it was already very red, but now we've got this blue-grey raised rock kind of stuff. Different kind of rock, I guess. A little bit harder to erode down over the millennia. But yeah, bunch of storage things for shipping containers or something. Strangely odd. Let's see, we've done 6.5, another 2 minutes. Where's this Bin Jawad? There is a town up there just about here, I think. But that's more than 2 minutes away, surely. Surely, if you're not kidding me. Still 30 knot winds, but that's better than 50 knot winds. Here's our carved out thing going along there. What's that? What's it doing? Crossing over everything here? Very interesting. It actually almost feels like it's some kind of stitching problem with the photos or something, because, you know, I feel like that should be there, and yeah, that's alright actually, but there was a bit before there where it didn't look like it quite matched what was next to it, but so maybe it's something that's been erased from the drawings from the photos. You know, maybe it's like a train line or something, and they're not allowed to show train lines. I really don't know. It's actually quite confusing me. Oh no, this must be binge-o-wide. We're just coming up to 8 minutes 18, roughly. The point that I picked is in this little town, so... Or not so little town, it's actually quite substantial. We've got some blue roofs again. Back to the blue roofs. Actual river there with a dam on it. Damn. We've got a little park with a central building here. Actually, must be pretty much a city then. Well, no, it's not that big. But, you know, an important town. It's got some kind of important building with some nice greenery around it. And it's time to turn. 5 minutes 1 second at 123 degrees. This will take us to Aussie and the airport Matratin. Gusting, although it's back down to 24 knots. That's pretty good. I think we'll be okay. We're out of the super windy area. Although, you know, I may have spoken too soon. We may get to the airport and it'll just be... We're going to have to land sideways. And then that's what we'll do. And this oasis of buildings and trees and greener soil and what you got going on there? What are you up to, factory? I think it's a factory. Interesting. Could be oil. I mean, obviously lots of oil in this part of the world. Oil refineries. Don't really know what they look like, and they probably all look different. Okay, so this here must be a big tower. Well, we've got the shadow of it, but the algorithm hasn't put a big tower in there. I wonder if it's an oil derrick. Is that what those things are called that pump oil out of the ground? Yeah, one of those big oil things. Suddenly we're in green grass here. Is this green grass? Bloody oasis here. It's just Garden of Eden. Surrounded by desert. And yet no one's living out here. Guess it's, I don't know, ex-mangrove swamp kind of thing. Just an optical illusion that it's this green. Just the day that the photos were taken from the air, it happened to cast a greenish hue on things. Ew, greenish hue. Hello, got any people? There's, you know, there's human stuff going on, but... Look, here's the proof of this. This is what it actually looks like. Then all of this must be, redacted. It must be just blurred in, or they didn't get proper photos or something. Much lower res photos in that area. Because, you know, look, you've got a road that just disappears, and then you've got this patch here that, you know, maybe it's a military base or something, and it's not allowed to be. We had that in France, where there should be an airport near me. It's a commercial airport, and yet all that it looks on thing is like this. It's just sort of green grass. So that must be what happens when you have stuff that's been blurred out in big maps. How are we doing? So, 4 minutes. Alright, there's the airport, I can see it. But that's not what we're landing. We're going to keep going on for one more segment to Ras Lanuf, but we'll get over this airport first. Say hello to Matratin Airport, which is near the town of Sirte. Bit of a town over there, and bit of an oasis here as well. Possibly. Could be a... Well, could be anything, really. Looks like it's possibly a town. Alright, well let's enjoy this airport and go, isn't it wonderful? Maybe we should have landed there when we see the next one. I'm not sure. They were both fairly... Is that another runway over here? Or is that actually where it is and the game has put this one here instead? That's an old runway, I think. Anyway. We have arrived at it. This town, in inverted commas, next to it really just looks like probably a oil factory or something. This is their fly-in, fly-out airport for their fly-in, fly-out workers. Let's see, has the purple line moved on? It has. So 125 for 417 to Ras Lanuf, and the airport is called Ras Lanuf Oil. So if that doesn't tell you what they do in Ras Lanuf, I'm not sure what would. And I suspect it's the same here. I would have expected to see like those big, well I guess oil doesn't go into those big circular container things, that's more gas, but I don't know. I don't know what I would expect to see in an oil factory or whatever. Certainly those big pumps maybe, but again, we don't think the algorithm's noticing those. So we may not be able to see them. I wonder if this is actually as Sirte. Might have been, I forget now. I found the, obviously found the runway, and then I had to zoom out a little bit to find the nearest town. I did think it was fairly big, so it might have been this, might have been this. Look, if this isn't as Sirte, who cares? It is now possibly somewhere near, or is as Sirte. This is where all the people live. Fairly substantial. Oh, you know what? This might just be Ras Lanuf. Ras Lanuf was to the northeast, northwest of the airport, and I can see the airport. It's right there in front of us. Fair away from the town. So this must be Ras Lanuf. Ras Lanuf oil is out over there. It's called, that's what the airport's called. Alright, it's time to contact ATC. Nearest airport list. Matritin, no, we want 2. Oh, it's got no ATC. Select runway for landing. So yes, we should have landed at the previous one. Would have been a nicer one, maybe. Let's see, what runway? It must be like 15 or something. There's 4 runways apparently. Well, let's see, we've got 36, that's no good. That's back the way we came. Well, where's the wind right now? Yeah, the wind's coming directly across, so it doesn't really matter. 18. 30 or 12. Where are the... Is this another runway over here? I was looking at this. So what would that be? That would be 12. Try 12. There's no runway here that's 12.
Traffic Ras Rover, Zulu Alpha 116 miles northwest, 3,000 feet inbound to land runway 12.
Oh, actually, this isn't an airport. Well, this might have been an airport, but this is, yeah, that's the runways there. There's 2 runways. Right, well, we're doing 12. 12, 19 knots from that direction. Really, no, we need to change runway. We need to change runway. We need to do, what would that one be? I don't know, 24 or something. How do I change runways? 8. Select runway for landing. Didn't work. 8. 30, 18, 36. That's a runway, right? It would be, I guess, 18. Doesn't look quite right, but anyway, I don't think it could possibly be 18. It's not a runway. It's not a runway. Or is it? Or is it? I can't decide. There is a little white dot at the end that suggests that there's some writing on it. Would that be 18? How could 12 and 18 be? No, that's not right at all. I do think that's a runway though. We need to lose some height then. How could that be 18 and that other one be 12? Let's just plummet to the ground. We need to lose a lot of height. That's fine. Not too concerned about that. Here's the oil factory, whatever you want to call it. Oil production facilities. Does that say 18 on it? It does. How could that other runway be 12 then? What's going on with my cardinal? I mean, yeah, okay. I don't know where runway 12 is then. It's still not quite the right runway for the wind, but we're gonna have to just deal with it. Gonna need some power. This is runway 18, there you go. Alright, this is going to be interesting. Got it. Oh, and we're getting... why does it want to turn right all the time? Stop it, plane. Stop it. Enough. Just calm yourself. Alright, we've got no ATC telling us to get off the runway, so they can not get stuffed, I guess. If they had been there, they could get stuffed. You know what I mean? That was leg, what, 16 of this little hops all the way to Australia from France trip. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for existing. Au revoir. Goodbye.